I don't know if that
Barbie
was
doll.
caught right.
We still don't know if I have my butt tattoo.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
I didn't get 3D printed.
Oh my god.
Oh, well, let's jump into the recap to get some context to that statement.
We live?
Yes.
Oh, well.
Last we met. Let me turn this down a little bit. Last we met on the 25th afternoon of Villid Glom, the Wild Shadow, on a sundog. Oh, Ivania was resurrected on a Sunday.
Biblical.
Very
Spoiler alert.
Oh, sorry. The Wayward Five defeated Queen Ayla, the Undying One, ending her 10,000-year reign. The tension remained as Sprig the Hunter clutched the dead body of her partner Rodrin, slain by Scarlet. The old champion glared at Scarlet with vitriol, but before words could become blades, Curon beckons Iluvania for grace and to bring Rodrin back. And for once, his divine intervention succeeded. But Sprig's anger still boiled for Scarlet. Curon gave what words of comfort he could, which at the very least convinced Sprig to let go of this anger for the moment. But she refused to fight any longer. Her and Rodrin's fight is over, and they will retreat to the country. Alas, the fight isn't over for our heroes. Glomung must be saved. The party rushed to the lower level where they found a severely wounded Ulumo, now free from Ayla's control. After frightening the guards and seers away, the party quickly got to work. Timber used his immovable rod to break the magical bindings over the dragon. And with that, the god Drake returned, following the guiding voice of Talray. Glomung, now released and thankful, blessed the party with draconic gifts. And he offered to stay in Elysia to help Ulumo and the people bring peace to a beleaguered country. He then leapt into the skies to investigate the fracture left by Ayla's meddling with the shards. With the citadel secured, the Wayward Five had only one thing left to do: bring the shards together. They did so in Ayla's hall within the pools of divine energy. As the shards fused together, 3 sigils appeared before our champions. A voice spoke aloud to Curon, Timber, and Sarathil particularly, saying, "Lo, the lost sister, might she return thus at the breaking. Lo, the champion seizing the fate of all, thus he ascends and descends. Lo, the hidden brother, may he step from the shadow to be made whole." They understood this to be the 3 choices: resurrect Iluvania, seize divine power, or empower Astraeus. The party debated long about what to do. The decision ate away at Curon, and he begged Sarathil to make the choice for him. As the old wizard stepped forward, opting to seize power, Talray stopped him and spoke his piece, saying that Sarathil was making this choice for all of them, and for him to make that choice carefully. With this last word, Sarathil changed his mind and brought Curon's hand to select the first option to resurrect Iluvania. And as this ritual began, a spectral, radiant hand bled out from the sigil to touch Curon's, and he fell violently ill, as did Ulumo. The spit from his coughing dropped into the well of divine energy and turned to bile and corruption, as the Pallid King laughed in Curon's mind, as these sacred waters turned to rot and climbed up Curon's body towards the nascent form of Iluvania Reborn. The Pallid King further mocked him, calling the ritual, his entire quest, and perhaps even Curon himself, a good joke. The combined efforts of the party and Glowmung rescued and saved them from the Pallid King's corruption. Now they find themselves in the swamps outside of Theris Moor, teleported by Glowmung, as they watch the fractured sky grow larger to a massive, massive void in the sky, with a pallid sky on the other side. A vast claw tried to break free, but the shattering began to reverse, and some sort of shield protects the skies as light forms near them. As a light forms near the party, they see, reborn in a new body, Wiswick comes to greet his friends in their darkest hour, though a bit confused himself. And the last image we saw was Talray on his knees, holding the now corporealized form of Ilyuvania. A woman of pale indigo light in long, flowing robes, dark black hair, and a mask that is in the shape of a crescent moon sticking out from her face, concealing her visage. This is where we left off. Wiswick is in the arms of Timber, who ran to hug him at his appearance. Timber releases Wiswick and turns and looks to Curon. And just says, "Keep me safe." As he sits down, takes a deep breath, and enters into a meditative pose.
Kaze, I don't know if this is the okay,
The last thing he
like-
says to you is, "He's coming for Lou."
who's coming?
He just looks up to the sky and then goes into his meditative stance.
Okay. I thought things wouldn't escalate so quickly. Wiswick.
Hey, I thought you'd be used to getting cryptic instructions, but from random people.
As soon as Timber lets go of Wiswick, the facade changes back to him with a big grin on his face. Goes from that very stoic voice when he came back, as he's quickly returning to himself.
It only took somebody, speaking nonsense into his ear for him to return to his older self. So yeah, Wiswick steps out. He's holding his privates with his hands, and he's like, does anybody have a towel or something?
Yes, of course. Kieran reaches into his bag of holding, muddles around and pulls out, random scraps.
Kieran,
What's something?
give me a an athletics or acrobatics check.
Do we still have your fancy clothes from way back when?
Only if you guys took them from his family's house after
We
his
wouldn't have
funeral.
taken
Probably
any of those.
no. I would say that's a no dog.
That's a 22 on the athletics.
Okay, you succeed. Kieran, when you go to reach your hand into the bag of holding, you see a blistered hand comes up and tries to reach to grab your hand and pull you into the bag. If you remember the dream world that you were in the haunted house a long time ago, there was a bagman in your bag of holding when the Pallid King was influencing it.
Bagman?
Yeah.
That tried to reach for you then as well.
Yeah, Kieran just, okay.
That
Kieran's gonna, I imagine Kieran has a cloak or something, and he's just
Yeah.
gonna rip off part of it, and hand it to Wiswick and go, sorry, I don't have anything, proper. This should help a bit, though.
Yeah, I mean, if I had some prepared spells, I might be able to do something, but I guess this will have to do. This will work. And I just try to tie it around my waist. Is it long enough?
Yeah,
Sean?
I'll say yes.
I mean, I imagine it's Curon's, who is 6'8",
Yeah.
cloak covering Wiswick, who is half that at least.
Not 6'8".
Oh, it's like a skirt, pretty much. So I'm like, ooh, airy.
Wait. I don't understand. How are you here right now?
How is this possible?
Yeah, God's right. Am I right, guys? Who
No.
really knows what's going on with those
You have to
folks?
be more specific. Wiswick. What's going on? You can't just materialize out of thin air and expect us to. Oh, yes, the gods did it.
Well, he has a point.
Although, now that I say that out loud, probably.
Look, I'd love to get into specifics with you, but it's now really the time. I think somebody's got to lift up timber here, and it looks like whatever happened. What's going on with the sky? Anybody want to bring that up?
So Ayla fused the moonstones, causing that rift, and we just refused them, and brought. Kieran says, gesturing to the body of Ilyuvania. We brought. We did it.
Completed Kieran's mission.
So that over there is Ilyuvania?
Yes. Kieran says as he just kind of like wanders over towards her and Talray. And I imagine like Glomung's up behind him as he just kind of falls to his knees in front of her and just goes, yes. She's back.
Wiswick whispers into Timber's ear. Not really gonna say anything, but my god was way cooler when we first saw him.
Timber doesn't respond in his meditative stance. She is unconscious still, the form of Ilyuvania. But this is you do all kind of look up as there's more thunder clapping, and you can see still like these little shreds of your reality falling down like burning tissue all over the place, as if it's a swarm of fireflies. And as like one falls from there, you see like a weakened version of it claps back on, as it is still like, bowing to the pressures of the other side with whatever shield is keeping it in right now.
We don't know what, right? Or the nature of what it is.
Wiswick, you would understand this to be some aid provided by Nul de Gras in your arrival.
Yeah, I mean, I would relay that as Wiswick. I'd say something like, yeah, I mean, hold on one second. And then you just see him close his eyes, and like it kind of looks like he's in REM sleep. Like his eyelids are like flickering a little bit, and then he snaps back into reality and says, "Oh, okay, yeah, so that's Nul de Gras helping." As
Nul de
for
Gras. Is he still chained?
kinda, sorta. The basic consensus is people want to hang around and do what they've been doing for a long time. But, I'm starting to work on it. I could do a little bit. I've been trying to convince the other Snurfneblin souls within Nul de Gras to, help out in the material plane. And look, it's working, sort of. We're getting somewhere. I mean, I'm back, right?
Sarathil, with what you studied about Wiswick earlier, you would understand at the very least the fundamental idea that Nul de Gras is able to exert some control or some influence into the world most likely because Wiswick is back. That kind of connection that you saw that existed has created a flow essentially of magical energy from Nul de Gras into this plane via the conduit that is Wiswick. And just without even a check, Wiswick is bristling with magical energy. The kind of magical energy you'd reserve for like a rift in reality, or like where ley lines themselves meet and cross intersect. Like Wiswick is just this blazing beacon of magic.
Yeah, I didn't really get to describe myself, but generally, I have a similar, height and disposition as the original Wiswick, but, my skin has been, completely changed. I no longer look like I'm kind of like as if it were like a statue of a Wiswick, it's almost like,
Yeah.
if it's almost as if the body itself is not rock. It's so smooth and like intricate in detail. Uh Almost like, like a famous sculpture or something like that.
Yeah.
But the the magical amber light that you would see whenever Wiswick was used to cast spells is now just a permanent thing that is faintly glowing through it, like where his veins used to be. And his eyes have also taken on that amber glow that, previously was only available when he was casting spells. So I do look a little different, and my beard is very clean and not the way it used to be. Like, it looks like one big piece of beard, like there's not even a single hair out of place, even though he was classically had like scraggly hair, like unkempt beard. So I kind of look good. I'm like the Greek god version of Wiswick.
Yeah.
You got a real glow up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm honestly, I'm kind of new to these things as much as you guys are. There's still a lot I gotta figure out. Noldegra brought me back, but I don't really know how he established a powerful enough connection to actually like form this body, and what my potential power is. I'm gonna have to figure things out.
Well,
Should we go somewhere, just somewhere that's not right here, and just process?
Yeah, as she's saying that, Talray, stands up, still holding
Ivana.
Ilyavanya's, collapsed figure in his arms, and he turns back to Glomung if he's still there.
He is.
Thank you for saving us. This creature that we just saved, Ilyavanya, I'm not sure what we can do to keep her safe. It looks like this world may be collapsing. Is there something you can do? Until she wakes up.
I can give you temporary sanctuary, but it won't last long, and I must go help the people. We must go help the people.
And which people? Do you mean my people?
Yes,
And our people.
I promised to help the Elysians, and this is even more threatening than the instability of your country.
Yes. I think we all just need a long rest, quick as we can. But
You see Glomung flaps his wings, and it's just sort of like this dusting of radiant, little tiny spectral Glomungs that flutter out, and they're kind of in his playful form, the one that has kind of the hummingbird wings, and they just sort of gather all around you, then form a kind of a dome around you. A Glomung's rather large hut is what it's called.
nice.
And this will give you sanctuary for until the morning. It's illusory in that you are sort of hidden and won't be seen from the outside, but you can see outside of it. if someone wanders upon it, they could potentially walk through it, but for the most part, you're in a rather isolated location in these swamps. And it does kind of raise you out of the waters, so when you do go to rest, you're not sleeping in the muck of the swamp.
Lovely.
But you do have long rest protection, basically, until you wake in the morning, as you see Glowmung lifts himself off, and you see him fly back towards the rift to do more investigation. And as he's flying, you see his entire form shifts, and he becomes that small hummingbird dragon to maintain some more subtlety.
Sean, do I have spells prepared or no?
No. Yeah, you basically
Okay,
are. You're basically an empty vessel right now. You have no spell slots and no arcane seals.
So, yeah, Talray, basically just pulls out, his camping supplies or whatever he was using in the past, to make like a makeshift, like comfortable, spot to lay, Ilyavanya down. And turns around and looks at everyone and says, well, we should be safe in here if Glowmung says so. What's next?
Same. I guess the primary focus is to ensure Ivania is safe and hopefully tend to her until she's has her strength to wake up and maybe give us some more guidance. Sarathil will kind of go to where Power is to know Ivania and try to get tending to her.
Yeah,
She
I was gonna
needs it,
say,
or just like
yeah.
watching over.
Since Glowman left, Kiran has barely said anything. Is just sticking to the side of Ilyavanya, just like watching her. Would have helped Talray, but for the most part, is kind of just in like this almost numbed shock state.
Yeah, Scarlet's similar. Just I would have dismissed if I was still wearing the living armor, that'd be gone by now, and just kind of like sitting and like just kind of like running a hand through, I'm sure, her disgusting hair at this point.
Yeah, Timber would actually have, as soon as he laid down in this area, like Timber is unconscious, like completely unconscious. And if you were to check on him, you would find him unresponsive, as he is dealing with far more horrifying things in Lou's dream state.
Should any of us be concerned about this? Ekbralgoth says he just kind of toes Timber's body. No? Okay. Neither am I. He says he just wanders off.
Who's this guy?
Oh, no.
And who are you, little one?
They call me Wiswick, Bilgru, Farlight, Yellen, Gentry, Pedri, Netherrock, Master of the Weaves of Magic, Archon of Noldegrar, God of Creation, Voice of Snurf Neblin's past and present, and overall pretty chill dude.
Quite the retinue of titles you have there, little one. I am Ekbarlgoth, Seneschal of Ika and Champion of Zendariel the Everflame. There were other parts of this that I don't have ready in my head.
Don't worry about it. I forget all the titles all the time. People just make them up on the spot sometimes, and you gotta remember that forever and just, tell everybody. It doesn't seem fair to me.
Yes, well, those in power deserve to have their status remembered by lessers.
I agree with that.
I'll at least remember your name, Wiswick. You seem to have quite the power, like Ralgoth says as he, scans Wiswick, for what little there is. But even he can tell that, this little one is brimming with arcane power.
Yeah, for sure. Ekbralgoth, you would start to feel odd. You would know that you would recognize this feeling, though. Your attachment to this plane of existence is fading.
Really? You're doing this to me now, when all the fun starts? Oh, Zenny. I can't say I blame you. I might just get a little too powerful if I'm allowed to help kill a god. Well, my friends, Ekbargoth says as he kind of like starts to step back, it appears the time for my show is coming to an end. The curtains are closing. The Seneschal of Iker must return to the Hells. But it's been fun. And remember, when you're in a pinch, don't come crying to me. Okay, you can. I made my exit. You can do it now. Everyone's just staring at him. Really, you're doing this to me now?
I mean, I'd banish you if I had any spell slots. I'm sorry. It was a good speech, though.
Don't waste your magic on him.
Oh,
Ek, for what it is worth, thank you for your help. And tell Sandario that she has our thanks as well.
Thanks for the fight.
thank you.
Talray wants to say something. He comes up and says, "You did your best to keep these fools on their toes, and I appreciate that. You know, sometimes you were the only person I could talk to, and you were there the whole time despite your attitude. And, you know, actions speak louder than words. Zandario will always be a friend to me." And reaches out to give him a handshake.
Ekbargoth goes in for the handshake and then reaches up and does that forearm clasp because, you know, he's masculine. As he's like looking up to Talray because, again, Ekbargoth is 5'8", and I think Talray is
he's
taller
pretty
than that.
tall.
Yeah, so he's like, out of everyone here, you had the best shot. If I'm allowed a little more free reign after all this, maybe I'll come see the Horde of Glowmoon. If you can get me in.
I don't know about that.
I'm sure you could.
If you can maybe find some place that's a little less hot or scary, I might come visit you in the Hells.
You know, the Tabernacle of Blood is actually not that scary. It takes a little getting used to, but it can be nice.
Well, till the next time then.
Until then.
Wait, Ekbargoth, no doubt, just quickly, before you're being recalled because this catastrophe is affecting your plane as well and Zidane needs your help. If there's anything you learn that can help stave this back, please ask her or yourself to reach out and let us know, and we will do likewise.
His demeanor shifts a bit, where he's had this like cocky, pompous, attitude almost the entire time you've seen him. His brow furrows, and you see like stress lines appear, and he goes, "Yes, I'll be sure to reach out to our allies here on the material plane. Don't worry, dead man, dead elf. You haven't heard the last from me." Okay, now would be really good.
Now you do feel your essence fading as Ekbralgoth kind of stands up straight, and you can see the armor that is imbued upon his body begins to burn red hot, and then white hot, and then bluish is coming off of it as for a moment through him speaks Zendariel as she says,
Huron Istilastana. The moment you've waited for has come. My champion has done his right duty to your friends in helping you back. I must recall him now, for this threat is not to your world alone. And if this Pallid King were to take the Hells, there would be no hope for any of you.
Of course, Thank you, Everflame, in all that you have done and all you will do. And good luck in the coming conflict.
The words have spread. In the heavens and the hells, all know the return of Ilyvonia. Good luck.
And Ekbrolgoth, the light gets so bright and that it's blinding to the point where you have to shield your eyes. And then as you open your eyes again at the relief, he is gone as quickly as he came.
What a guy.
You know, I never really liked him.
It's about
Yeah.
liking him. He helped us retrieve you and stop Ayla, so consider that lucky.
Yes. Yes, I appreciate anyone that's helped us get this far. Kieran says, turning his attention back to Ilyvonia.
Kieran. Roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh,
Has
we
it
were
been-
safe in here, Sean.
Has it been 10 minutes since I cut? No, I'm just kidding.
This has been the longest 10 minutes ever.
7.
You begin to cough violently again, and you feel sick to your stomach. As does Ulamo, who is kind of just sitting in this space. She also begins to cough and choke.
How do we?
Relax, Kieran.
I have
Pallid
potion-
King.
I have potions of healing. Would that work?
I don't think.
No, the
What do we
Pallid King
do?
has sunk his grip into his soul. I'm afraid. I'm not quite sure what to do.
Wiswick runs up and looks at him and says, Maybe I can figure something out. Sean, tell me if this is legitimate.
Cool.
Can I use my prodigious memory as a bonus action to I have to replace one spell I've prepared, so I guess I can't do it. I was hoping to get a cleric spell out of there and give him a good old restoration or something like that.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't be able to do that right now.
Yeah, I don't have any slots for prepared spells.
I know it's not gonna rid him completely, but I guess Sarathil will try to. He'll use a remove curse on him just to maybe stave off as much as he can.
You could see Wiswick
No,
struggling.
I'm not saying that.
playing
I'm
the
not
Thunder.
expecting it to break it completely.
No, yeah.
He's had this magic before of dealing with the Pallid King and using this actual spell to try to help him in any way he can right now to slow the affliction.
You can definitely do that. I'll say, like, generally speaking, since this is a new thing entering this space, this sickness on Kieran and Ulamo, is that remove curse as a spell will stave off the symptoms of whatever is infecting them.
Right.
But it's very clearly on both of them are experiencing the same symptoms. Ulamo is similarly having coughing fits, difficulty breathing, and is immediately over kind of fever comes over them almost instantly.
Kieran is going to go over to Ulamo, and so we had kind of talked about this in terms of the pool, having a dispel evil and good as the proper spell, but since it's afflicting an individual, would a greater restoration?
Yes.
So Kieran will cast greater restoration on Ulamo at 8th level, because that's the only spell slot I have available.
Okay.
I'm actually wrong, Sean. I can cast the spell. I was reading the wrong part of my character sheet.
Oh, really?
So I double mistaked into
Double
it
mistaked.
working.
Okay. Okay.
You only have one for yourself, Stefan?
I have one 5th level spell slot or higher.
So Wiswick, do you want to use that Greater Restoration?
Yes, I am going to use Master of Magic to recall a cleric spell, turn it into a wizard spell, and do Greater Restoration.
Wiswick, temporarily, for just that 6 seconds that you used to cast this, you are you feel the presence of an ancient sort of Neblin soul within you. You are taking on and utilizing the collective mind of Noldegrad to pull the essence of an ancient ancestor who knew these spells, who had this devotion.
And I imagine as I cast it, you all see that if you look closely, like minor facial features of Wiswick's face are actually altering to look like some other Snurfneblin as he's casting the spell. And then as quickly as it takes him to cast the spell, the face is gone.
What level did you cast that at, Wiswick?
I believe, actually, I don't really know if I could upcast with this. Must be for a level I have spell slots, mustn't have it prepared. I don't have to have it prepared. You follow the normal rules of casting it, including the expending a spell slot. So I guess I could upcast. I didn't know you could upcast Greater Restoration, though. Can I?
It's just a matter of you can use a higher spell to always cast something that's a lower level spell.
Yeah, there's no upcast rules.
Okay,
Yeah, it doesn't get stronger. I was just asking for the other features on your new body. 9th
spell slot, because why not?
All right, so yeah, you would all see that on Wiswick's new body, I imagine it's almost like you have like 2 on your upper arm and shoulder, 2 here, and then 1 here. You see a seal, this like arcane seal appears that has that same amber light appears on Wiswick's chest. That's in Zvirfneblin runes.
You have any diamond dust on you, Kiran?
I had bought in, I think, 4 uses of Greater Restoration, and I've used at least 1 before this session.
Yeah.
I used it.
Okay,
I used
so we'll say I have 1 more
You have
use
1 left,
of Greater Restoration. I need to make a note of that.
Did it do anything, Sean?
Yes,
Nope,
yes,
we
it
die.
does. Yeah, so for both of you, the Greater Restoration, Kiran, you know as it's cast upon you from Wiswick that this thing has not been banished from you. This sickness, it is part of you, because the tainted waters were used to resurrect you.
Oh.
So you know that this sickness is rooted deep within you, and may need further intervention to completely wash away. But Greater Restoration staves it off pretty significantly. Like it won't come
I
back
feel
for
that
7
as well.
days. Is what you can sense is that Greater Restoration staves it off for a week.
Oh, that's good.
I imagine Wiswick is kind of taken aback by his own, ability.
Yeah, like it almost happened instinctually, Wiswick. I imagine, like where you just like quicker than you can even realize what you're doing. You feel like you reached out for that spell without even really thinking about what you needed.
Yeah, he like steps back a little bit, and his hands were shaking for like a second, and then you see like the shock or whatever on his face kind of just like disappears very quickly, and for a second you see him like be still before he pops back into his like normal self and says, "Well, that was cool. I mean, that I gotta keep in check. I gotta keep a list of what just happened to us. Let's see. And I pull out my little notebook and I start writing things down. I wonder how many
What little
times we
notebook?
can do that. Oh, I'm writing it on the floor with a stick.
Glad to see some things never change. Thank you, Wiswick.
I mean, a lot has changed. Have you seen what we just pulled off?
Yes, but you, the
Us.
core you, well, that's fair. I shouldn't pretend to know exactly what's happening between you and Noldegra.
Yeah, I should probably make this, kind of an announcement. I'm kind of changing my pronouns as we're talking. I just kind of figured this out. I'd like it would really be respectful and nice if everyone referred to us as we.
Of course.
I mean, you are the embodiment of all the Sniff Neblin, are you not?
Yeah, it's still kind of confusing. But, we'll figure it out together, right?
Yes.
Yes, we shall.
Can I get someone to roll
Thanks
me
for
a
being
d20?
supportive.
I got you. 10.
Okay.
I imagine this while all this magic stuff is going on, Scarlet just kind of went and sat by Timber to keep an eye on him. Even though there's, she can't really do anything, but just so he's not by himself.
Yeah, you can see Timber is like laying down. His eyes are open, and they're rapidly moving around. That you can see in the pupil of his eyes, you can see the spiral of the Pallid King.
That's not good.
That's not good.
But he did speak as though he was confidently on it. So as long as nothing happens to him, you can presume he's staving off whatever is happening in the dream world of Lou.
Oh no.
Bye, Mike.
Bye,
We
Mike.
lost a mic. We lost a mic.
No. It was too much for him to handle.
There's the mic.
Is that me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Welcome back.
It like went in and out like 5 times on my end. That was weird.
I think I would, just seeing the spiral, but kind of knowing that there's this feeling of just like kind of helplessness just kind of comes over, and I'll just gently close Timber's eyes and just stare blankly ahead.
Yeah, the entire time you're doing this, Scarlet, you are beginning to feel the gnawing discomfort of your neck and of Isgoth as the unbelievable presence of the Pallid King is inundating everything around you. You feel like just like this overwhelming sense that you should just be running away somewhere. Like that feeling of like, I need to get away from where I currently am, even though everywhere will have the badness of this feeling.
Yeah. I'll put a hand on the hilt of the prongs and just kind of whisper to it. I want to as well, but we'll figure it out.
You see, the blade does seem to calm a little bit, but your neck is just wriggling in there.
Gross. Cool. So then I'll just sit there.
More than usual, I would say.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Do I usually feel it when mind blank's on?
No. When mind blank's on, it's usually extremely dormant. You actually could easily forget about it. It only wriggles when mind blank is off, or when there's the presence of something that terrifies it, like the Pallid King.
Like Pallid King. That's fair.
Old Pallid King.
That's fair.
Being old Pallidy.
Being all pallady.
That's what he does. Pallid King in his pallady ways.
Cool. So then I'll sit with my knees up and just kind of like trying to hold it still.
Yeah, it's very gross. You can physically feel it with your hands, like under your skin.
Like I can feel my baby.
Yeah, kind of the same
Baby.
thing.
A baby.
Something feeding
Hold
off
on.
of you.
Ooh. I just want to try and remember. When Wiswick died, was Scarlet still there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I freaked the fuck out.
Yeah. Scarlet
Alright.
was still there. Yeah. Scarlet came back a while before Wiswick died. So yeah.
Yeah,
Wiswick's fully
now
aware of her
it's
situation.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good.
Timeline.
Is there anything anyone would like to do, or are you guys
So-
looking to take a long rest and then start figuring things out?
Yeah.
I think Kieran wants to cast a quick sending to Ashk.
Okay.
And it's level 3. I don't have any higher slots. So it's simply a... Oh, Ashk of the Shifting.
Use all of
Shifting's-
your words up with getting his name
I'm
right.
sorry, what the hell was your title again? Oh, Ashk of the Sifting Sands. My quest is at an end. Ilyvania is resurrected. And the Pallid King comes.
Still has its
We
moments.
need your help. Love, Kieran.
You would get a response. Oh, I thought you were dead. I just believed this was going to become my manor now. But it seems a moment for joy and despair is in order. Will you be returning soon? Or should I find you? And that's it.
Kieran rolls his eyes like he's really gonna make me spend another spell slot. Just like him. He'll respond. We are currently resting for the night. If you can make it to Alicia, that'd be great. We may return to the manor. Love, Kieran.
Alicia. I may be a god somewhere, but I don't have those sorts of powers here to get there so quickly. But I've seen the shockwave across the sky, and I have felt in my bones the return of a spirit. I will prepare myself. Until I see you or hear from you. Stay safe.
Alright, and with that, Kieran just returns to his vigil next to Ilyvania.
All right.
I'll go sit next to Kieran at some point. Just can't sleep. Want to sleep, but can't sleep. So I'll just kind of go over, still rubbing the back of my neck, and go sit down next to Kieran. This seems like a very stupid question, but how are you feeling?
Very overwhelmed.
That makes two of us.
The worst part is, I brought her back. But it's not what she wanted.
How do you know?
I feel it. I feel this whole time it was him, the Pallid King. Just as he did to Orlin all those moons ago in Magicset. The way I'm sure he's beguiled so many others, including Ayla. It was him, not the Crescent Heart, that spoke to me. It was him that started me on this journey. It was all part of his machinations, his grand schemes, his awful, terrible joke he plans to play on the material plane and the rest of the gods.
I can't imagine how frustrating that is.
It's beyond frustrating. It's...
I know, I don't have a better word for it.
Think everything I've done, everything I tried to do to thwart him. And while some of it did stop his plans,
You're actually helping it.
though, I think he intended to take Illyvania's form then and there in the pools, and if it wasn't for Talray, Sarathil, Glowman, if we had fused those stones before going to free Glowman, if I had the proper spells, if there's so many different ways things could have gone differently, but
That's
they
always
didn't.
the case. You've told me that before.
Yes, well.
But you didn't know. You didn't know. It's not like you did it purposefully. Right?
I just fear what she will say when she awakens.
You think she'll be upset with you? If she does, that's not fair.
With the gods, nothing is fair. I think we've all learned that by now.
That is true. I just can't comprehend. I'm trying, but everything that's happened. It makes my head spin.
Well, try to set it right, Scarlet. Because what we're about to do, what comes next, will be even crazier than everything we've done up to now.
I know I've asked you this before, and I'm not asking now for reassurance or anything. I feel, for what it's worth, in a better mindset than before, after everything we've seen. But watching the others try to help you and Ulamo, and I couldn't do anything. I don't have magic powers. I'm not fishing. I'm genuinely curious. Why me?
Kieran just looks to Iluvania and goes, "You'll be able to ask her that yourself soon enough.
I suppose that's true.
But if I may, you're the one commanding 2 Scathulum right now. Sure, they're young. Well, I don't know about the one in your neck, but
It's
the
got a mind
prongs.
of its own. I'm trying with that one.
You're
think I've made
controlling forces, extraplanar forces that caused even the gods trouble in the Morsir conflict. Just remember, Scarlet, you're more powerful than you think you are.
And when you say that, I think about Rodrin. I'm sorry about Rodrin.
It's not me you should be apologizing to.
I feel like that ship has sailed.
Yes, well, remember, you're the one in control, Kieran says, looking pointedly at the prongs of the black. Whatever it may hunger for, you decide what to feed it. Next time, maybe don't offer it the soul of a champion of Ayla. They were
To be
good
fair.
allies we could have used in the coming fight. And I barely stopped Sprig from attacking you.
I know. And I'm grateful. I'd like to say I didn't know you didn't want me to finish them off. And I did.
I guess some of my own actions may lead you to that conclusion. I don't find total fault in what you've done. But the time is coming where mercy may no longer be an option for anyone that comes before us.
And like you've said before, there's no point in dwelling on the past when we've got so much more to deal with in the future.
Yes. That Kieran kind of just stares at Iluvania at this thought of dwelling on the past.
Thousand-yard stare for Scarlet.
I imagine that's a lot of what's going on in this Glowming's
Yeah,
rather large hut.
Yeah.
I gotta make that a real
Talray,
spell.
oh, sure. Talray's just playing his harmonica in a cheery tune just to, like, try and brighten the mood. Wiswick is conferring with his ancestors to tell them what's going on. Try and get some guidance from Noldegra, possibly. But it's like a one-sided, update. It's not really like he's, reaching out or anything.
And Sarathil is studying Wiswick, just like taking down notes of like the areas he has. He's like the embodiment of Noldegra, just channeling magic through his being.
Sarathil, give me an Arcana check.
Oh, 17.
It's not bad.
So bad.
Not bad.
It could have been better. It could have been a 30.
Not everything has to be 25s and 28s and all that. Although it's nice. So you learn a little bit about Wiswick's new body from watching him. You watched him when he cast the Greater Restoration earlier, and you saw like reactions over his body to the magic. It looked as if almost like his body was absorbing any excess magic from the spell that wasn't used, or any byproduct of the spell. As a very seasoned scholar in the ways of magic, you know that when magic happens, when magic is pulled from another plane of existence into this plane, there is a byproduct of kind of like magical energy that leaks off of it, like heat in a elemental change or reaction. And Wiswick's body seems to absorb that kind of radiant magic. You're not sure to what end, but his body does seem to be a conduit of some kind, not just for Noldegrod, but for any magic cast upon him or from him, it seems. Like you might even like when he's not looking, toss a quick prestidigitation at him just to see what happens.
I was literally about to say that.
And there just seems to be some latent reactions that happen between his body and magic.
Mm.
That particularly has to do with that byproduct magical heat that spells have.
Right. Okay.
Just for lore's sake, like, what did you actually cast on me?
Let's do chill touch, actually.
Oh, what the heck? That might actually hurt me.
Like, no, in a controlled way where it's like the cold is affecting you, but I'm not trying to damage you, really.
So I would say, even though we'll say you don't really damage him, Wiswick, I'll say because this technically is a spell that would normally damage you, I'll say you get one of your seals lights up fully.
Oh, sweet.
So you would definitely notice this as you're casting this. It just seems like his experimentations have fueled you a little bit, and you see Wiswick, the sort of just the chilling magic just sort of gets absorbed into Wiswick, and you see a runic charge form on his chest.
At first, I react. I'm like, that was cold, and then look down. I was like, ooh, that's new.
Yes. You have no idea what that is?
Just give me a second. Okay, yeah, now I know what it is. Clearly, I've become a conduit for Noldegrod, and these I can now absorb his energies from alternate planes, and because of that, I can now also absorb energies from within the material plane. If I cast spells, or perhaps get a powerful enough spell cast on me, I can convert some of that into my own energy and use it in various forms of ways. It's kind of creative, I've got a lot of different options at my disposal, but for now, I can try something simple. And I'm gonna take that charge, and I'm gonna convert it into a Noldori gemstone that is just like a big old amber gem that pops out of my hand. And
yeah,
you
can see it kind of like the energy moves through those veins he was describing earlier, and then just sort of just pops into his hand this amber stone that has the same kind of sigil, that the same seal design stamped on it, burned into it.
And I kind of like have it in my hand. I'm like tossing it up and down, and then all of a sudden it just like starts floating. and it's just like floating around me. I'm like, look at this thing.
What is that?
It's kind of just like a condensed version of the energy that you provided me. If it's so I can hold on to it for later, and because if I have too much in my body, then bad things could happen.
You're right.
Wiswick go boom.
Yeah. Yeah, yes, you seem to be storing all the magic that is being thrown at you. That's if you have too much, so surely that it would erupt and implode inside yourself.
Yep, that's definitely a threat, but I think that just because of me first arriving on this plane, my tolerance is a little bit down. Normally, it would take a lot more magic for me to, like, spontaneously combust or whatever.
Right.
He's extra sensitive right now. Normally a little tiny cantrip like that wouldn't necessarily charge up a full charge.
Yeah, I got that. Okay. I'm good.
Okay. So you all begin to settle down within the protection of Glomung. It is like often when you have even the tiny hut, you're still in an uncomfortable space. It's not perfectly comfortable, but also like you can still see out there, and it's kind of hard to fall asleep when there's a hole in the sky that has a very, very loose barrier on it that is constantly pushing down like that in little pieces falling and burning. But you find some kind of rest, enough rest to heal you and give you your spell slots back. But you may be a little stressed out. Can someone roll me a d20?
Yeah. 11.
Okay, good to know. Before we cut to the next morning, we're going to have a few little...
I think Shannon had something she wanted to do.
Yeah, I want to do.
Oh, before bed?
Before yeah.
You got it. Go for it.
Before bedtime.
All right.
That's okay. So after a while, I'll get up from sitting next to Kieran and I'll go find somewhere to sit and attempt to start rest. And still distracted by the parasite, I get a sudden thought and curiosity spikes. And so I hold Isgoth again, and I'm whisper and say, I know this is technically your kind, but I'm curious as to what's... Just go with it. And I want to see what happens when I bring the sword close to my neck.
With Isgoth kind of summoned out, or just bring the regular blade? Okay.
I'll do regular blade first, and then if nothing happens, I'll do with Isgoth summoned.
So with the regular blade, so you're just seeing if there's a reaction?
Yeah, but there's a tiny little part of me that's like, maybe I can get it out.
So I mean, Isgoth, the blade without Isgoth out doesn't do anything. It might shake a little as Isgoth is like hearing what you're saying to them and being like, well, if you want me to do something, you gotta let me out.
Yeah, that's fair. So, all right, Isgoth, let's go.
Okay. You see the whipped blade comes out with the jagged pieces and that molten lava inside of him pulsing, as you can see the head of the blade sort of crawls back and looks. You don't even have to hold him back there. He's
just hold it.
Yeah, he can move dexterously enough to look back at it, and you can actually feel him you can feel the metal of the blade tracing on your neck. as you can then feel the squirm of the parasite as if it's biting down on your spinal cord.
Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Just look.
And then you also would see on your arm where you're holding it, you can see parts of Isgoth bleeding down, the ooze parts coming over your arm and piercing into your skin and going up your arm under your skin towards it.
Uh-huh. I'm assuming it hurts.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable. It's not like it's not like a blistering pain. It's more like if you like when you get like a vaccine shot and there's the pain of the needle going in, and then it kind of dulls as the ooze is going up your arm through your veins.
Is there anything you can do? Do you think we can remove it?
You get a sense in your mind from Isgoth.
Uncertain.
Well, that's unhelpful.
Shall I attack? Shall I feed?
Gently?
You feel the ooze inside moving, and then also the head of the blade, like, at the ready at your neck.
Mm-hmm.
And I need you to roll me a D100, high or low.
Let's go high. 60.
Okay. You feel immense pain as internally Isgoth has latched onto the creature, like his ooze is covering and trying to, he's like a white blood cell trying to consume it and destroy it, as you feel it clamp down on your neck and your spinal cord.
Screaming.
Let's imagine everyone was about to fall asleep as Scarlet screams in agonizing pain. As you can see, Isgoth is like curled around looking at her neck, and you can see the black under her skin of the ichor moving towards her neck.
So Curon's running over and he's shouting, I stopped you from getting one soul today, and I'll stop you from getting another.
Wait, Kieran, wait! Leave it! Leave it, wait!
See the head of Isgoth comes back and looks at you.
You can see, like, Curon's hand is emanating radiant energy as I've got a spell prepared, probably.
Yeah, probably.
I can only cast, like, first or second level spells at this point.
So yeah, I'll just say, wait, I want to see.
It's weak.
Can you finish it?
You feel the point of Isgoth's blade touch the back of your neck. And this thing is squirming like a small animal caught by like a wolf or a dog.
Yep.
And the blade pierces your skin.
Uh-oh. Yep.
When I told you to use Isgoth to control the other worm inside you, I didn't quite mean this.
I know. I asked it to. Just let it happen. I want a clear head.
Curon just nods and takes a step back, understanding exactly what she means, as he now has a clear head.
Its master is weak. It's weak. I can feed.
Hearing that the master is weak and that it's weak, Scarlet smirks and says, "Do it."
Scarlet, you feel like twice as much pain as you just felt there. It's compounding greater and greater as you then feel Isgoth's the head of the blade wraps in to your neck,
Oh, yep.
and then you would all see Isgoth just ignite as that almost like Isgoth is casting erupted flesh on himself.
Hell yeah.
As Scarlet would, I imagine, you're excruciating pain. You're gripping onto the sword.
Yeah, but trying really hard not to move. I'm trying to stay still.
Scarlet, give me a Constitution saving throw.
Dirty 20.
Okay, you don't pass out from the pain.
Yet.
One more D20 roll, high or low?
D20 or D100?
I'm sorry, D100.
Low. 84.
Okay. Isgoth is digging away at it and trying to consume it.
Blood.
Yeah, there's a lot of blood pouring out from Scarlet's neck.
That sounded like a lot of dice. He's doing math.
You're going to take 36 points of bloody damage.
It's fine, I'm still up.
Oh, bloody damage.
Bloody damage.
As Isgoth rips out the back of your neck, and you can see sort of wrapped around, like the Isgothian blade is wrapped around this horrific looking insect that is got that looks like a leech that's bloated and about maybe like 8 or 10 inches, and there's like pieces of Scarlet's neck that are still attached to it, and like there's like chunks of bone in its mouth. It is out for the most part, from what you can feel.
Shit, it missed a piece.
But it is not entirely out, but it is mostly out.
Okay.
In the sense of, you would need some investigation from other people to really understand. But Scarlet, you are rapidly losing blood right now.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I would jump on that immediately.
Yeah, you all would know. It's basically
Kieran.
like this sword rips out this horrid like
Leech.
blood red leech with like black striations across its body that's wriggling in the maw of Isgoth, as Isgoth just sort of ignites further and then almost like completely wraps around it, like the entire length of the blade coils into this mess, and it just sort of crushes and glows as Isgoth is devouring and absorbing the leech.
Hell yeah.
Kieran's gonna actually have a 4th and a 3rd level spell slot, so I can send out some healing words.
I have 2 potions of healing too that I can chug.
You just pour
I
on
imagine
it.
we just want, yeah.
just pour.
I was just gonna be life transferring.
Yep.
Yeah, as you guys look at the neck, and it's gonna require like a healing potion. Like it's gonna require a few. I'll say it takes a few of those things.
Yeah, I also have 4 1st level spell slots and
Yeah.
3 2nd level.
I'll say you all have enough to fix this. But when you and Sarathil go back, it's like for a moment you're like. Because it is literally just a gaping hole,
gross.
and you can see Scarlet's exposed spinal cord.
Oh God.
What in the 9 hells?
I've never seen a wound like this before.
And
That's a wound.
but you can like pour your magic into this that starts to rebuild the flesh and muscle and bone. Scarlet, kind of like your leg, there'll always be kind of like a itching, like numb pain there.
Something, yeah, that's
almost
fair.
like old-fashioned tattoos that used to use mercury, so they itched forever wherever there was red. But yeah, Fun fact about tattoos: they used to use
Yeah, I was about to say
mercury
that's
and
a
red ink.
weird flex, but okay.
I only know that because my dad has an old tattoo that has some red in it, and it itches because there's probably mercury in his skin.
Doesn't kill you, makes you stronger.
I watched a X-Files episode that is strangely like that. The red stuff in the mercury makes them go insane.
But
I thought you meant about the worm coming out of it.
That might also be an X-Files episode. I'm only in season 4.
I was gonna say. Kieran turns to Isgoth and goes, "Remind me never to ask you to perform surgery."
and you say that as like the ball kind of unravels, and you can see there's nothing left of the of whatever he ripped out of her neck.
Well, that's one thing taken care of. Yes.
Where's my checklist?
You know how foolish that was to do without our help.
All right. Yes, I know, but I had something I could figure out. I wanted to do something. So I don't need a lecture. Thank you very much.
We are stronger.
Duh.
Do they hear that?
No, they wouldn't hear it.
Oh.
And it was, as far as I can tell, it was quite successful. I'm curious tomorrow, Sarathil, if we're going to even require the mind blank. Give it a try.
Well, first I need to make sure that your nervous system is fully intact. Ripped out. I'm pretty sure I saw bits and pieces of your spinal cord along with that thing.
Well, Illyvanya's healing and your life transference should have...
And my healing potions.
Yes. Well, those probably didn't do much, honestly, besides, like, numb the pain. But the professional work that we just conducted should have reconstituted any nerval damage that may have happened. Nerval's not a word, is it?
Nervous.
Nervous damage that was...
Nah, Paradice, like you want to say. Nurgle.
Grandfather's blessings.
Tower is gonna cast Healing Spirit, because why not?
Yeah, everyone throw a heal in.
Ekbarl Goth shows up and goes, "I'm not healing you," and disappears.
Just to tell you that he's not healing you.
Yep.
He had the slots.
So did Isgoth change at all, or is just really?
Is he exalted?
What does it look like? Is it?
Isgoth has evolved to his next stage.
Fuck yeah!
Yeah, he turns his form shifts over and over again in front of the form of his new form.
Isgoth evolved into Isgarino.
Which for some reason is like a full person.
Oh god, it's just like a weird like slime person that comes out of the hilt like, "Hello there. I'm sassy for some reason."
I don't understand any of these references.
They're not really references.
That wasn't a reference. That was
They're not?
just,
Alright, I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell.
Hey.
But
That
yes,
was the bad Pokemon evolution thing, but
it-
okay.
Well, I think
is.
that's
Well,
what
it started off
Yeah.
as
Isgoth
Isgarino.
is going to go from their awakened state to exalted.
Woohoo! Oh,
Good
hell
lord.
yeah. Hell yeah.
So what, that's a +5 on everything, Sean? And she can, auto-succeed on anything she wants to do?
Well, I wasn't expecting this, so we'll find out. I mean, it's definitely at least one more, plus to it.
Whenever she lands an attack each turn, she can cast Wish at will.
Hell yeah. I wish for everything to be better.
The
Max
Pallid
damage
King
on
has-
all sneak attacks.
I wish this guy was dead.
Isgoth, now that the creature is out of your neck, your living armor is also technically gone.
SpaghettiOs.
Makes sense. Okay.
But it was absorbed into Isgoth. So you have your living armor. It's just no longer the Cirrus.
So is it one bonus action to activate everything now?
Yes. The living armor
on!
will activate with your activation of
With
Isgoth. Yes. So you don't have to. It's also your living armor and your, daggers are no longer like dangerous to you. Like they're no longer you giving into the Cirrus, they're you utilizing Isgoth.
I'm imagining like one of those cool like pauldron things that goes up her arm and like gives her like a shoulder pad armor thingy.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And also Isgoth can incorporate with any of your weapons now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But as far as the actual stats on the weapon, we'll find that out next week.
We'll figure that out. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It's sitting back, it's covered in blood, but
yeah, everyone's got blood up to their elbows right now, and Scarlet, you are literally covered in your own blood.
Covered. Yep. Yeah. I'll just sit back and I'll just look at Kieran holding this new exalted form of the sword and just kind of be like, I'm in control.
That makes one of us.
Kieran looks at his blood-covered hands and goes, yes. Just be careful.
I'm going to bed.
Trade one Scathefulum for another.
Well, more like fuse two into one.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so now you guys can go to bed after some violent surgery.
If I'd known it was that easy, I would have done it a long time
It
ago.
would not have been that easy back then.
I know, I'm kidding.
You gotta thank your brother.
Yeah, there's a reason this is actually working at all. Which brings us to some vignettes before we go on our break.
Yay!
I love vines.
My favorite.
I don't know French.
Oui.
Vignette.
Beignets.
Beignets. We're all gonna have some beignets.
I can go for
Beignets.
beignets right now, I'm not gonna lie.
They're commercial breaks.
Okay. Elsewhere on this plane of existence, the world reacts to the Pallid King's hour, as it was called. Somewhere in the healing Ghost of Ruination, we descend down after that second shockwave runs across Aradun. And we can see the clouds dispersing in the sky through the collapsed ceiling of an old lay sanctum. It descends down this tower deeper, until we see a room filled with the bones of Kenku. We see a large abyssal raven, this inside-out raven that has been, basically as a heap of flesh in the shape of a raven, picking what's remaining from the bones of a dead man. Just ripping off this hardened, rotting flesh of this spinal, of these decomposing lungs and the split rib cage opened out into the blood eagle this man was spread into. As there's just the body moves. As that flesh of the lungs that is hardened into this dried flesh and meat begins to bleed. And that blood then attaches itself to the bones. And the head comes up as you can see this flesh slewing off of this skull. And forms over the face is a pallid mask. As it carved into the forehead of the pallid mask is the spiral. As this body just lifts itself up and begins to slowly walk out of this tower. Somewhere else, east of here, northeast, a little more north, we see the dark and empty ruins of Magicbed. As you can see this dusty, empty courtyard. A place a long time ago a man shouted out to his accusers before he was hung. You can see almost from the dirt comes the several scattered ashes of his body coming together. This body, or this plume of ash that is in the shape of a body, struggles to keep its form as over the face a pallid mask forms. The spiral carved into the forehead as the body starts to this amalgam of ash begins to walk and form itself more solidly, but it stays a cluster of ash. Somewhere north of here, and a little bit west, in the late winter snows that cover the streets of Oranshire, huddled, bone thin, straggly, in an alleyway, is Jorhan, the Asimir you saved from the Pallid King a long time ago. He begins to cough violently as black ichor comes out of his mouth, as a spiral is carved into his forehead, the flesh, and from it a mask forms over his face. Further north from there, in the streets of Sarathil, the Druid brothers are recovering below a massive tree that is ripped into the sky. And Gideon looks to his servants, his most trusted and beloved followers, with a smile, as his eyes grow dull and a spiral digs into his forehead, and you see those horrid fungus grows back over his body as he looks around sick and whispers that he's sorry to his friends as a pallid mask forms over his face. And finally, to the east, southeast from here, we come to Gristrum, where we see stepping out from an opening in the wall where you can see split wood and just the growth of flesh coming out of a wall, and a gaping maw where Thatcher steps out, cleaning Scarlet's dagger of return that he uses for everything, arms covered in blood all the way up to his shoulders, stained all over him, pallid mask on. He walks out as he's cleaning this blade and sits back down in the Crimson King's throne as the camera moves slowly in on him, and we see carving into his pallid mask is a spiral on the forehead, and he quickly rips it off and throws it on the ground and looks at it. Oh, we meet again. And that's where that vignette ends, and where we will cut to a break, and we'll be back in 5 minutes. 5 minutes, folks.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. To awake in the morning of this new world. Stick around, folks. We will see you in 5 minutes. Say, see you in 5 minutes, folks.
No. See you in 5 minutes.
We'll see them.
Welcome back, everybody.
Oh, God.
Sean's gonna just kill off more beloved NPCs.
Yeah.
Get ready.
So
for it.
I forgot a vignette, so we're gonna get back into vignette mode. Everyone, shut up.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me.
Except for you, Sarathil. You can say whatever you want.
It's me. Am I muted?
No, we can
Nope,
hear you.
you're not.
We're just not reacting.
I'll be quiet now.
Okay. So, our last vignette. We are, the camera is moving towards a workstation where there are several manuscripts, scrolls, and books all over the place. In the other room, we can hear someone humming to themselves. As the camera pans up and down onto the table, as we can see rigorous notes all over the table. And sitting in front of these notes is a pallid mask that a spiral starts to carve around. As walking into the room with his lunch or dinner, they don't really have time in the Underdark, is Uncle Oak.
No.
And we'll come back out of the vignette.
You're a bad person. You're a bad person.
You're a very bad man.
Some things are sacred, and Uncle Owick is sacred. How dare you?
You monster.
The gods have no place for you. You will not be claimed in the fields of death, Sean. You'll hang out with fucking Hadric. You'll just hang out with the mute god. The mute despot.
Yeah, I'll hang out with Adric.
He can't talk.
Yeah, but I'll hang out with all the other people who are stuck there.
No, they don't like you.
Just be
No
a
one likes you
a
there.
farmer for the rest of
Everyone knows.
eternity. Everyone knows. They all judge me.
Yeah.
But yes.
At least it wasn't stormtroopers.
Okay. So, I can't stop looking at Stefan. So we have seen each person who has interacted thoroughly with the Pallid Mask. It seems to have been affected thoroughly by the Pallid King's rise. And this is just the beginning.
Oh, is it? Let's get to the end.
Speaking of, you all wake up as the Glomung's rather large hut is dissipating. You find yourself standing in the waters of this swamp. The sky still ripped apart, but still protected by the shield placed by Noltegraf for now. It's quite early, because you all passed out pretty early in the evening after the fight. So it's bright and early. I'd say probably like 6 a.m. What would you all like to do?
Real quick from the get-go, Kieran is going to cast Dispel Evil and Good on both himself and Ulamo.
Okay. Let me just pull up that spell real quick. So I believe I'm gonna.
Technically, it doesn't ask for, or it doesn't say aberrations, but
You know, I've already told you a long time ago. Any list that has Celestials, Elementals, Faes, Fiends, and Undead have aberrations in my campaigns because I seem to exclusively use aberrations.
It also just makes sense.
Yeah. So the creature, it says, must succeed on a charisma saving throw or be sent back to its home plane from within you. Interesting. Okay, I will do that.
While he's doing that, Wiswick is trying to get Talray to teach him how to use the harmonica, but he can't blow anymore because he no longer has lungs, so it's not working for him.
Well, so with the spell Evil and Good, break enchantment. As an action, you touch a creature you reach that is charmed, frightened, or possessed. Are we possessed or?
I'm going off of the dismissal because it's more
Okay.
of like it's a presence inside you that you're dismissing.
Okay.
Because you're not
Awesome.
possessed. You're corrupted. It's
literally
within you.
inside.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a DC 22.
Yeah. This is just gonna have a blanket +5 because I don't have stats for the corruption in your blood.
What? You haven't prepared that?
Okay. You have dispelled it from your body. And you have not dispelled it from Ulamo's body. Unless you'd like to try again.
Yeah. We'll cast it at 6th level this time.
Okay.
Not that that changes anything.
Yeah. You, with the 3 casts, you are able to dispel it from both of you. You both violently just like... just like basically vomit it up. And it just sort of dissipates into the air as you do so as this black ichor, very akin to the black ichor that was bleeding from the walls of Brahm's house, pours out of you and dissipates with a little.
As he's finishing vomiting this black ichor, I walk over and go, "And you were lecturing me last night."
What I did was not. And you see a little dribble of ichor comes out.
With a little.
Was not an invasive surgery by a sentient weapon, but careful manipulations of magic to expel a corruption
That's
placed upon
frightened.
myself. No, there's no blood. Do you see? And Kieran gestures to both himself and Uma. Do you see any blood?
All I'm saying is that was pretty similar, and
I didn't.
I don't want
lose...
to hear anything about it.
No, the
You see,
DM did not roll.
Ulamo looks and says, "You can't see our spinal cords and our nervous system, and we're
And
not
I didn't
covered
use any
in
hit
blood."
points
You can't see mine either anymore.
anymore.
Scarlet, your clothes are covered in blood still.
Yes, but you can't see my spinal cord anymore.
You should ask the wizards for some precision.
Please, enough arguing, guys. We need to conserve our energy on the task at hand.
This
Like-
bickering
Papa
is not.
Sarathil.
It extends. No.
Papa Sarathil.
This is.
Speaking of which, Scarlet, I would like to examine your neck to see. Is something funny, Kieran?
No.
Yes, is something funny, Kieran?
No, that's just. I'm gonna go, and he just
I'm
walks
cu-
over to Vanya's body, and it's just like.
I'm curious to see how successful your procedure was, and if you've rid it completely, or if you'll still need some help.
Stefan, mute! Stefan, mute! Thank you. By all means.
Um,
I'll try and break a brush away some of the blood that's there.
Dried blood that's on your neck.
I mean, Sarathil's got medical tools and stuff, so he's got some cotton balls and
My
rags.
tools.
Which my tools? I have my tools.
Sarah, give me a medicine check.
There's medicine. There it is. 24.
Okay, I mean, as far as you can see, there's the flesh has healed well enough. It's a little red, but not like there's no sign of like an infection, and there's no like sign of, like before it was very clearly present. There was this
Yeah, you could see it
this
was
thing
stuck
moving
there.
there.
Yeah.
Now it looks as if there's nothing, like no presence was there. It's just there's like faint lines of scarring from where the edges of the wound were, because even if you heal something perfectly, unless you use the regenerate spell,
Yeah.
like scarring still happens.
That's fine.
Of course.
I
How
can't see it.
are you feeling this morning?
How am I feeling this morning?
I mean, your neck is a little itchy, but
Stiff.
it's. I mean, the nice thing is it feels like there's like a hole
phantom-
there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like you feel like you should be feeling the effects of the
Yeah.
worm, but you notably feel its absence in your neck.
Okay. I mean, it's a bit stiff and itches a little, but all in all,
And you don't feel anything of the Cirrus?
not at the moment.
And
like I
as
said,
he's kind of calmingly asking these questions, I had imagined I will like to use detect magic, and I imagine like the part of the procedure is like I have something to like prick into, and it's just like hurts, and like surprises her to like see if I can dig it and get there.
What the fuck, Sarathil?
So with detect magic, like you can detect the trace amounts left in there. This was by no means a clean surgery, obviously. And while Isgoth devoured the main parasite, like there is like pieces of it left in there. Not pieces that can like that have a mind of their own, like the parasite, but like clearly just like parts of its flesh, which, with everything you've all talked about with the Scathefulum, even though it's not as bad as the Cirrus having a direct link into her mind, it's still probably dangerous if she gets anywhere close to the Cirrus, because it's still part of the Cirrus that is within her, even though it is like literally like a few drops inside of her neck.
See anything?
Kind of like retracts a bit and be like, well, the creature that lived in there is clearly gone, as far as passed on, but pieces of him do remain. It did not completely rid itself of the Cirrus. You should be alright at a distance, but you should be wary if we ever happen to see her again.
If I have my way, I won't see her again. Can we try without Mind Blank today and see what happens?
I was going to suggest that, but I just need you to be honest. Any inkling you feel an itch or some sort of connection to her, you let me know.
I promise. Get that thing out of my neck.
Of course.
Thank you, Sarathil.
Anytime.
Sorry I disappointed you.
Can someone roll me a d20?
I got you.
Oh, you already rolled
John.
one.
Yeah, okay, well, you didn't speak up!
You were so fast. I was getting into the thing.
You're eating ramen.
I was eating ramen. I rolled an 8.
Okay.
What's it for?
Mess with us. It's psychological.
It's
for nothing.
This is the passive effect of the Pallid King is just anxiety.
I'm pretty sure that's against the Geneva Conventions. So.
I thought you were going to say the GM conventions.
Those don't exist.
GM-Eva.
All right, so it's yeah. What else would you like to do this morning?
How's Ilivanya doing? Is she still passed out?
She is still unconscious. Yes. I mean, there's no signs of like strain. She's breathing. You're not exactly experts in the medicinal needs of gods, so the most you can really do is just kind of keep an eye on her.
I knew I should have taken that elective.
Yeah, back in Ultimaster, it was a very popular elective, the medicinal needs of gods.
Excuse me, I've been dealing with a god for a long time now. I think I know what to do.
I cast Prestidigitation and splash her with water in the face.
The water just drips off of the moon mask over her face.
Wiswick, what are you doing? You can't just... Don't... Please, just... I will see to Ilivanya. The rest of you, conserve your energies and strengths.
You guys brought her back to life, right? I mean, a little water in the face is the least that she should be concerned about.
Also, Kieran, you should also be conserving your energy.
You see Kieran has procured a towel out of somewhere, and he's just slowly, like, wiping, like, patting at her hair and mask.
Wiswick covers his junk again.
No, a towel, not your towel. He would never use something as filthy as Wiswick's loincloth.
Hey, Wiswick's made of pure marble right now, so it's pretty clean.
Yeah, well, Kieran just sees him as a dirty, dirty little deep gnome. So.
Use creation to create myself some clothes.
There you go.
That works.
There it is. Finally.
What does Wiswick create for clothes?
Wait, hold on. What do I get? So I have to do. I'm gonna make it out of stone because it lasts 12 hours. I make. I guess it would have to be like. I don't know how this works. It would have to be like. No, vegetable matter is 1 day, so it would have to be like cloth, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I just make a brand new robe, and a wizard hat, just like the one that I used to have. Except the robe now has, Nah, I'm just doing the same thing. Like literally just classic Wiswick. You know, Carmen Sandiego hat, trench coat, the
Trench
whole
coat,
deal.
yeah, the whole deal, just all made out of stone.
Yeah, before he was doing Professor Wiswick, but now he's back to the beginning garb. It looks like he's fresh out of the Underdark.
Oh my god, I would love to see just like in a video game, just all the Wiswick skins. Professor Wiswick, treasure hunting Wiswick, stone Wiswick.
Nude Wiswick.
Nude Wiswick with just like a blurred out
Loincloth Wiswick.
loincloth Wiswick. Okay.
That lasts one day, so I have to cast it every day until I get new clothes.
Yeah. So you are all standing in this swamp. What do you want to do?
This is an honest question. What now? What's the next step? What do we do next?
Sean,
Yes.
examining the rift. What is it look any different?
Give me a perception check. Which I believe you have advantage on because you took the draconic gift.
Yeah, I don't because I decided to take something else instead because Stefan
I'm
shamed
sorry.
me. And it actually makes more sense. I was thinking about it. I was on the fence, but I took Tongue of the Dragon instead.
Okay.
And that was a 7.
I mean, even with a 7, though, like you've studied it before. You're not gaining nothing from that 7. You're just not gaining as much as you would. The rift is very clearly. This is what I'll say for the 7 is when that shield breaks, all the damage that has been done to the rift is going to happen all at once, basically.
Oh,
In
dear.
the sense, like it's like. Yes, it's stopping it, but it's accumulating. It's like it's keeping it at bay, and it's accumulating behind the rift. It's not going to like destroy Theros more necessarily, but it is going to be probably a bit more destructive than a breach normally would have been.
Like a volcano, except space.
All right, Wiswick. Noldegra is the one that is shielding us from the dangers of the rift currently. Do you know how long, or how much his strength will keep that in bay? What we could do to help it in the meantime? So what we need to do is we need to rally as many people because that will break eventually. So we're gonna have a hell of. I don't even know what to expect once that breaks, but it will be devastating.
Yeah, that doesn't sound great. If I could just gather some more energy into my body, I might be able to commune with Noldegra. But other than that, I think that we might need to prepare for the worst, evacuate people. I can't. He won't speak to, like, I could tell him things, but he won't speak back to me, or like I can't have a two-way conversation without expending more energy.
You see, as Wiswick says this, Ulamo is like woke up earlier than you guys and is already packed, and you see she throws her pack over her shoulder and looks to you all and just says, "Well, I'm not sure what you all have to do, saviors of the world as you are. I'm going back to Theros more to do my duty to my people and help evacuate it. I know there's a lot you must tend to. That is what I'm going to do now.
Yes.
I'll go and see if I can rally the aid of Glomung as well in the effort. Get the guard on my side, the Ash Guard as well, perhaps. Start sending people west."
Yes. Get any civilians or those who can't fight and have them flee. But anybody that can muster any strength will need to help fight against what is coming through there. Huron in Sarathil, who now is impromptu or acting leader now that Ayla is gone.
I imagine it would be the current sovereign, Elway, though he was a mere puppet to Ayla.
Should we try and...
Perhaps we move to Sarathil and try to convince him and see what he's doing. I guess have him help rally exactly what's left here, and Lycia.
Should we try and talk to our friends that were going to bring down the spire in Sarathil and see what the situation is?
Yes, it would be good to also reach out and send word to any allies we have. I think you're referring to Gideon and his lots.
Yes.
I mean, they had all night to escape the city, right? Hopefully, the ones with common sense have already evacuated.
Talray hops on Monday and says, I'm not sure if Glowmung should stay here to protect the Ilyavanya, but I could still help out. Let me help spread the word. And he just flies off. And he's gonna be, using what do you call it? The thing that makes his voice louder. Thaumaturgy. To on Mundy's back and just flying through the streets, be warning.
Uluma would actually raise her hand to you as you're going to see if you could give her a lift.
Sure.
And she grabs on, and you two fly off to the city because you all are far enough away from the city that a walk would take 15 minutes to get there, but flying would be faster. So they go flying off, Talray and Ulamo, to begin the evacuations of Theris Moor, leaving the rest of you with an unconscious Ilyavanya and an unconscious Timber.
Well, I guess we could probably, just to keep these guys safe, I could pull out one of these.
And I cast Wiswick's Magnificent Mansion.
Oh boy. All right, so what does that look like? I mean, I meant the outside is just the, a doorway, but...
Yeah. So, yeah, you see a stone doorway, burst out of the ground. It's just a basic stone archway with a portal in the center of it. And he starts dragging Timber by the foot, and I'm hope somebody comes and helps him. But if you do go inside, you see it's a giant. It's kind of reminiscent to that underground lake that you saw in the Underdark, where it's just bioluminescent mushrooms in the ceiling and the glowing fish below in this lighting up this cave that is completely calm water. It's black. The water looks black with the reflection of the dark ceiling, and it almost looks like you're in outer space because there's twinkling lights from the ceiling and the floor. And in the center of the lake there is a small little castle that is similar to the little watchtower that you previously saw in the real thing, but instead it's just a giant castle that has a big sign on it that says Wiswick's Magnificent Mansion.
Yeah, you can absolutely bring the folks in to protect them there.
And yeah, as soon as I drag what do you call it? Timber in, my unseen servants just pick him up and do the rest for me.
Kieran has remained by Ilyavanya's side, and at this point has pulled out a comb from somewhere and is just gently combing her hair. Hasn't moved at all to bring her inside the mansion, as he almost seems enthralled.
I'll walk over to Kieran as you're brushing her hair. Do you want some help moving her? I think she'll be safer.
But all of this, Kieran says, looking up, motioning. This is her plane. This is where she has her most strength.
But she can't do anything at the moment. Maybe she would do better resting. And then as soon as she's awake, we can bring her back out.
Yes, you're right. With Glowman's very large hut gone. He says
Rather
as he...
large.
Rather large, excuse me. I misspoke what the gods said. And he'll move to pick her up in his arms and bring her inside the mansion. I think you go to help and he kind of like almost like pulls her away from you,
yeah.
like instinctively and goes, "Sorry, I didn't
I don't have to if you don't want
I didn't mean that."
It's alright. Do you want help or no?
I have her.
Right.
Says in a very soft voice as he brings her inside. And hesitates at the doorway, like, is this the right thing to do? Is she better here? Is she better in there? He's like... and walks inside the mansion.
Yeah, imagine as soon as you enter the mansion, there are some translucent servants that are dressed up like butlers, and they Wiswick just like is like halfway to the entrance and is like, they'll take care of her. Don't worry about it.
I'll bring her. I have it.
I can arrange for like a palanquin or something if that's better for you.
No, I'll bring her.
Yeah, the servants all look at each other and shrug and then walk away.
They go and take their break. One of them pulls out a cigarette, lights it, and the other one grabs a few bottles of beer. Okay, so you can escort Timber and Ilyuvanya to Wiswick's magnificent mansion, Castle in the Lake, to rest and to stay safe while you decide what you want to do.
Going to Wiswick is like, I think the most important thing right now is to know how much time we have. So I would like to focus that on with you, if maybe we're able. If it's magic that you need to channel to talk with Noldegra, then maybe if you would allow me to maybe pump some magic into you, give you some so you can try to speak with him and try to commune.
Yeah, I guess that works. I mean, I already used some magic myself, and I show you my chest, and you see that there are two runes glowing. Creation and Magnificent Mansion, for your record.
Thank you. I was trying to think about the second one. I was like, oh, that's right. The Magnificent Mansion.
Out of how many?
5.
I need 4 for communicating.
4, yeah, 4 for commune. You technically have 3 because you do also have your Noldore gemstone you created.
Correct. So I basically need to cast one more spell, or you need to cast a spell on me.
Does it matter what level?
5.
Fifth or higher.
Oh wait, no, it's 5 for me. It's pretty much anything
damage.
For other people.
It's damage. Is how
it's damage.
Instead of in lieu of damaging him, if you would allow, just with the expertise and magic that I have, if I could just waste a 5th level spell slot and say that I'm just channeling that magic into him,
I would be very much okay with that.
Okay, so I'm not just like throwing light at him,
just blighting him for the sake of damage.
Yeah.
I'll allow friendly imbuing of magic.
I appreciate that. My spell slots appreciate that.
Yeah. All right. So Wiswick, you feel energized as you have 4 of these charges now, or 3 in you and one in its gemstone form. So you can expend those.
I do so, and I reach out to commune to Noldegra and the spirits within him. So as I do this, you see Wiswick kind of just gets very stiff as you've seen him do before, and he starts doing the REM sleep eye shuddering thing. But when he's actually communing with him, his face turns almost like it changes form again, and instead of like giving off distinct features, it kind of solidifies, almost similar to like a golem, or just like a blank slate. You only see small distinct imprints for like the eyes and nose and mouth, and he doesn't even, his mouth doesn't even move as he speaks, but you now hear him speaking, and I'm guessing you could also hear Noldagra's voice like responding, coming out of the same body.
Yeah. And this would work like the commune spell, where you get 3 questions, except it's not limited to yes or no. He can give you direct answers.
Okay. Noldagra's on the line. How can we help you?
And yeah, you can like technically
How many-
you can
how
you
many-
can have the other person, like someone else, ask the question.
Oh, okay. How many questions should we get?
3.
Great. Okay. 2-parter, so I don't know. That's what I'm saying. No. Like a little weird, like, am I just like talking to a god now? But
Let me do the first one.
Do I talk into your mouth?
I get it. Yeah, it's totally confusing. It feels really weird. Hey, Noldagra, how much longer do we have before whatever is happening over there in, Queen Ayla's castle happens and everything blows up or whatever?
And you see, as Wiswick finishes the question, that same kind of like that, the effects on his body seem to rapidly increase, where it's almost like when Wiswick moves his head at all, like you see like several echoes of others of your Benevolence faces move with it. And you hear the voice of the hive mind of Noldagra respond to the question of how much time do you have?
Days I can hold him, but only physically. He may breach further, but the rift will not open for 6 days.
You hear that? 1 less than a week.
yes, I heard.
Yeah, as the like Wiswick's like, because I imagine like his eyes are kind of like rolled back as when Noldagra's talking to him, and then it goes right back into Wiswick after a blink or two.
Wiswick, ask if there's anything we could do here on the material plane to perhaps give Noldagar strength and prolong that at all.
Hey, Noldagra, is there anything we could do to help? To maybe stall longer? Or, stop it completely? What do you think is the best course of action moving forward?
If Wiswick returns energy, I may be able to hold a bit longer, but not indefinitely.
So I'm taking that if like some of those charges that he keeps held within him, instead of casting one of these abilities, he can offer them directly to Noldagra.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's not a like.
Yeah, no.
You can do that forever. It's the kind of thing where maybe you can get an extra few days out of that.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Okay. And I guess the last question I would like to ask is, if at all, before the 6 days ends, if Wisik were to fall or leave this plane, if my assumptions are correct, would the barrier then fall as well?
Yes. My power can only reach the material plane through Wiswick.
It's at this point that Kiran kind of like walks into the room for where he was tending to Iluvanya and goes, "So then it's here, on our plane, that we should face the Pallid King. I had thought it best to go to the Feywild and fight him there. But if we leave, that'll stop everything you've done, correct?"
No more questions. The connection ended.
Well,
I was a little late, wasn't I?
Yep. Honestly, that last question, I could have told you the answer. Sorry about that. But, yeah, if we were to go to the Feywild, we could probably stop his physical form from entering the material plane, therefore no reason for Noldegrad to keep holding on. However, it might be more prudent for us to gather our forces here. I mean, we have a lot of allies on the material plane. It might be too much for just the 5 of us to handle if we end up going to another dimension.
I had hoped to spare our plane the worst of this coming conflict. But you are right, Wiswick. We have the most allies here, so it does make sense that here is where we make our fight.
But where on here do we make the fight?
I mean, it seems like the giant hole in the sky is basically our first location. The problem is getting all of our friends here.
But do we want to do it in Elysia?
It's where Iluvanya would be at her strongest.
I suppose
When?
That's true.
Kiran says, looking back to her unconscious form, she finally awakens.
She will.
And I feel Glowmoon has some strength here, a connection to the land.
But this is your home, Kiran.
And it's already been ravaged twice now
So what's
by
the third?
mistakes of my people. Well, I guess the Morse conflict wasn't really a mistake, but Theris Moore can handle it. The Elysians can handle the coming fight.
See
One
much
night-
choice in the matter.
Yes,
They'll have to handle it.
Wiswick is correct. The rift is open here, above Theris Moor. So it's here that the Pallid King will first emerge, and it's here that we will meet him.
So this is where we'll make our final stand.
Or our first of many. It's hard to tell exactly how the conflict will go.
Shall I check in with Gideon?
Yes.
Now that we know that we have a little bit of time, not much, but some,
Shall I
should
tell
start
him
contacting our allies
to
and letting
come?
them know of the coming danger.
Shall I tell him to come to Therismore with everyone?
It might be prudent for them to consolidate some power in Sarathil. But
I
when
think
they're
that
ready,
any of our allies that can get here in a 6-day time frame, we should recruit. I don't know what you guys have been doing since I was gone, but if there are anybody that any nearby towns or villages that might have able-bodied, soldiers, we should try and recruit them. We could maybe teleport some Ilyuvanians to spread the word to other lands, or something like that.
Elysians.
You mean
Yeah.
You know this.
Look, it's been a long time. I got a lot of thoughts in my head. Most of
It's
these.
been like a month.
Look, I am one brain in a sea of brains that have only lived underground.
I imagine even as Wiswick says that last sentence, like a little bit of his frustration comes out, and his voice sounds like dozens of Zvirfneblin saying that at one time.
Is there anyone else I can be helpful in contacting? I have two other
Really messing up the pronoun thing, by the way.
sendings I can use besides Gideon.
I reached out to Ashk yesterday. Figured any gods we can get on our side, even if they're a fractured part of a chained god. Off the top of my head, I intend to reach out to a number of our allies. Maybe you can reach out to the Gloom Lord. You remember him, Garlemane.
Clay, maybe?
Yes, Prince Robert. Can reach out to him.
Right.
Maybe
that.
see what Cal's up to.
Can I make it here in time?
Some of them, potentially with magic. The Gloom Lord, I had reached out to, a week ago?
I know him.
Yes, he was. If it's any consolation, Wiswick, he was very upset by your passing, so know that you had quite the impact in the Underdark.
Yeah, they were pretty nice. They helped me make a birthday present for Scarlet.
Yes. He
I did mention that.
Yes, so I guess we should start to reach out.
Alright.
Well, where do you want to start? Maybe we should, split up and then regroup.
Split up. I was just going to cast some sendings.
As was I.
You don't want to go there yourself, the personal touch. I have teleport. I could bring a few people back.
It's much faster this way.
If you want to go and teleport to different high-profile allies,
We just got you back, Wiswick.
that it'll be quick, and I think this is a good option to have physical bodies here. Who exactly we should get through this, I'm not totally aware.
Bring a council together.
Yes.
Council of Kiran.
The Wayward Council, maybe?
Mm.
It has a nice ring to it. I'll walk a little bit off and go sit under a tree and do
Tap
my
into your
little-
Bluetooth.
Tap
Under
into
a
my
tree.
Bluetooth. I'll say the same thing, but I'll do it. Same thing to all three of them. Gloomlord,
Gloomlord
Prince
first.
Robert. Yep, Gloomlord, Prince Robert, Gideon, for
Okay.
no apparent reason in that order whatsoever.
Interesting.
All right, so I'll just say greetings, friends. We were successful in our quest, and now the end begins. If you can come to Therismore.
It's
That counts as
hyphenated.
one word.
It's
Yeah.
hyphenated.
With aid, we would be grateful.
Okay. Gloomlord's response first. We are a few days out from Therismore to the underground roads. Did we? No, he doesn't say did we. He says, glad we didn't miss the fight. Prince Robert's response. I'm glad to hear that you are all alive. Therismore is a long journey through roads none of us have ever traveled. And we are preparing for an attack from Oxlin. Riding north would lead us directly through the Oxlin army. I'm not sure what we can do for you. I wish it was different. And when you reach out to Gideon,
Good joke.
Is that it?
that's it.
Oh, shit.
He's not going to give you his plan.
Why not?
Pallid King's not General Kinsley.
Yeah. We have a problem. We have a very, very, very big problem.
Yes, we all saw the hand.
No. The Pallid King's taken over Gideon.
What?
Did I stutter?
A little bit.
I heard the Pallid King's voice, and he said, "Good joke." So, I don't know. Can you reach out to anybody else that was in their party? I'm out. I can't.
We need to
What
go
are we
to
talking about?
a druid, right? A leader of the head clerics. We need to go to Sarathil now.
Immediately, yeah. Can
Can
we?
one of you teleport us? Can this mansion... I don't know how this works. Can this go with us, or is it tethered to where you originally cast it?
Man, that would be pretty cool. I think it's tethered.
But you can teleport. My ruling is you can teleport with no issue back into the mansion, and it's hidden. Like only you guys can walk in through the door. Like the door is hidden.
If they're safe here, we can at least leave them.
So, like, as long as I concentrate, I could just, like, make the entrance wherever,
Yes.
essentially.
Yeah. Basically. I'm a big fan of the Magnificent Mansion, so I'm gonna be a little loose with the rules.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's pretty good.
It's one of his favorites.
But I've never been to Sarathil, so I'm not sure if I can get us in there.
If we're gonna go, we need to go now. Or send warning or something. The influence is very clear.
Alright, Kieran's gonna... third level sending to... what was the responsible brother's name?
Elduin.
Elduin. Sending to Elduin. Just goes, Elduin, this is Curon. Is everything okay? We have reason to believe Gideon has been corrupted by the Pallid King. How can we reach you? End.
Great rhythm be damned. I was waiting for something from you. We've been on the run all night. He's been chasing us. He killed Florian. And that God's damned plant told us to run. So I don't know if Elliot Fern is alive either. But you're weeks away. If you got some kind of teleportation you can send here, we could use it. Spire's down. At least.
Didn't tell me, like, where they are or where to teleport to.
I have just realized I never planned a city map of Sarathil.
Meet us at the old tree. You know, the big one.
I mean,
I'll tell you where.
Okay.
I'll give you a location.
I think Wiswick is probably talking to Sarathil while this is happening, being like,
I know nothing about anywhere around here, so I'll teleport us back, you know?
yes, he agrees.
Sarathil, I don't know any place near anywhere around here, so if you could teleport there, I'll teleport back. Does that sound like a deal?
I've never been there myself.
We're in the Ethera Commons. It's just outside of the central keep where the spire was. We made it through the walls. And we don't know if he knows where we are. We don't know if he can find us. But last we saw, he was fighting with Elliot by the tree. Or by the exterior of the tree. Or the courtyard, wherever the... I'm sorry, just, if you can get here, we're in the Ethera Commons. We're gonna stay here as long as we can, but if we have to run, we're gonna run.
Sarathil.
What is he saying?
You know what the Fey tree looks like, correct? You can see it in your mind. The ones that we planted, or you guys planted, I wasn't there, but another part of me was. I mean, he wasn't really part of me.
Oh, the ones that we,
Yes.
the ones that grew out of the
Yes.
seedlings.
Focus on that.
There's 3 of them. Wait, who is it you spoke with?
I spoke with Elduin.
Elduin.
I spoke with the Elduin, the oldest.
Elduin. All right, wait, no. Before we start just going off in different places, I have an idea. As I'll touch my diadem and I'll cast telepathy to Elduin.
This is where scrying would have come in handy. Scry on where he is, and then...
Oh yeah, I just realized I have that too.
We have the orb.
And it's essentially, you create a telepathic link between yourself and a willing creature you're familiar with, so I'll send out just like, Elduin, it's Sarathil. Allow me to connect with you so I can see where you are. Be there momentarily once you do.
Okay. And that allows the transfer of like visuals, right?
Says until spell ends, you and target can instantaneously share words, images, sounds, and other sensory
Perfect.
messages.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Good call.
And and that has no distance limit, right? It's a
No.
excellent.
An 8th level spell.
Yeah,
That's all this thing.
Yeah, see, it's great now that you don't have to use that damn mind blank on
I
these two
know,
fucks.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I could do other things.
Yeah, you better get your ass here right away. And he'll transfer his own visual, what he is currently looking at, and you can see this like
open his eyes.
it's basically a park in the city of Sarathil.
Mm-hmm. Focusing on it, concentrating as best I can to remember as much as I can until I feel that I'm comfortable enough to cast teleport. And before I do, it's like, Wiswick, you can get us back here.
Yeah, sure.
That sounds so urgent.
So confident.
As before we get teleported, Kieran's gonna rush in and just like hold Ilivania's hand and be like, "I'll be back." Before coming back, and he's like, "All right," and he takes out this massive scepter that he uses. Let's go kill some pallid fox.
Hell yeah.
Just like that.
Just like that.
All right, so we established that because I've done this before. Am I very familiar with it, or?
Yeah, I'd say because of the nature of telepathy, you can get a much better understanding of it. You can also like fully get the person's understanding of it that you cast it on, which I'll say gives you very familiar.
Okay.
So
I
you have
will
a
cast
25% chance of being teleported elsewhere.
Come on, Sarathil.
Yeah, I'm gonna run outside real quick and just grab a hunk of grass from where we were, just so I have an object to come back to here.
Absolutely.
There's definitely dirt hanging off the bottom.
Okay, yeah. I cast it on everybody here except for Timber and Ilyuvanya.
Okay. Let's say, let's just say Timber goes with you, because Alex is going to be here again next week.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Timber wakes up. Timber wakes up. Oh.
Don't forget me.
That was very difficult.
Sean, it's fine. Look, the unseen servant has a little envelope, and he puts it right on his snoot. And inside of the envelope is a message from Wiswick saying, "I will make the magnificent mansion show up wherever I'm going. Just walk through the exit if you want to hang out with us."
There you go.
Right, sure.
Beautiful.
We'll cross that bridge when it comes. All right, man. This is a D100. Here we go.
Come on, Sarathil, you got
Damn.
this.
Yeah!
Woo!
46. On target.
Thank God, because so when you fail, it's the distance off target is 1d10 times 1d10% of the distance that was to be traveled, which is like
dear.
hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles.
I'm aware.
That would have been wild. To have you roll cardinal directions and be like, "Hey, you're in the ocean."
Realistically, I would probably just try. I would cast it again.
Yeah, obviously. Or Wiswick would immediately bring the magnificent mansion into the ocean.
I know. I mishap again in the middle of the ocean, and I just teleport us to the broken continent.
Right, you're just right back. You're right in the middle of Aldalore. Okay. You all feel that spaghettification happen.
Yes, the spaghettification.
As you can see, there's commotion all throughout the city, not because of Gideon, but because of the giant tree that burst into the sky in the middle of the night. As you can clearly see Gideon and my God.
Elliot.
No, not Elliot. Elliot is not with them. It's the third brother of my name.
Well, you said
You
Gideon.
mean Elduin?
Oh, you meant Elduin.
You meant Elduin.
Ilgwin.
Ilgwin, thank you. Eldwin and Ilgwin are there. Ilgwin is kind of like standing tall and like looking out. They're hiding in the bushes, basically, behind a tree. And Eldwin is kind of like looking and sees you. Ilgwin is in like basically like the fetal position right now. And kind of just like biting his nails and 1,000-yard stare. You're here. I thought we wouldn't hear from you again.
You asked us to come, so we came. Where is he?
We were running from the last we saw him. We were at the walls of the inner courtyard, and Elliot stayed behind on the bridge to face him off. It's maybe 5 minutes from here.
Wait.
I think I know it. Because Kieran's been to Syrinscape.
Yeah, you've been to
Sure.
Sarathil before. Yeah.
So Kieran's gonna run off, and as he does, he starts to use minor illusion to make his voice louder as he's just yelling. Bearer of the Pallid Mask! We're here! Come! Fight your champions. Not yours, but the ones that have come to... We're here!
I'll activate Ghost Walk, and I'll hover / levitate after him.
Okay. So you all follow Kieran towards where the bridge is that leads to the inner city where the tree was planted.
Yes.
Okay.
You darn tootin' we are.
Oh, darn tootin'.
You would hear the fighting before you get there, because Elliot Fern is not quiet about his fighting.
How dare you cut at me? You are not Gideon. Whatever you are, I banish you. Oh. You will not get past me.
And as you kind of cross a corner coming out of this area, you can see there are like several Elysian, like you're walking through like a neighborhood of clustered homes, multi-tiered with these many open balconies where you see Elysians holding, like watching. They're not looking to where you're going. They're staring at the giant tree in the sky. And, you know, because it's sort of like a big shockwave shot through the city, and then a tree blew up into the sky out of this. The city, are we under attack? What's going on? No one knows. There's people who are running. Like, you see people emptying their houses and leaving because they don't know what's going on. Generally, there's a panic in the streets regardless. So you're running through, and you get to the bridge. You come across, and you can see, standing on the middle of the bridge, you see Elliot Fern, the animated Fern, is down to one knee, looking up, and kind of brings his thorn sword up to try to strike at Gideon, who is covered in that fungal armor again with that mask and his staff. And Gideon just kind of catches the actual sword itself in his hand and just squeezes his hands, and you see this dark energy bursts into the blade and shatters Elliot's weapon. As he just kind of looks up at all of you.
Initiative time?
And casts Blight on Elliot Fern.
Oh no!
That's not good against plants.
Can I use a reaction to protect using the Scepter of the First Shepherd?
You can.
Okay, cool.
What does that do again?
Well, as a reaction, you can turn any critical strike into a normal hit, or you can reduce any damage by 4d6.
So go ahead and roll 4d6.
Cool. Wow, holy shit. I mean, it's only 46, but it's still 22.
Whoa.
It's pretty good.
It's almost max. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, let me roll damage.
Elliot.
Not Elliot. All our friends are dying.
You must have expected this to happen.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it suck any less.
A little early, sorry.
Wait, so no matter what, he's gonna take.
Yep. I just realized it as I rolled the damage and I was like, oh
56.
Yeah.
Yeah, 56 points of damage. So depending on what he was at, Sean.
If you saved how much?
22.
22. Okay.
So it did 34.
So 34.
Necrotic. Which we all know Elliot with resistance to, anyways.
Obviously. So I'm gonna roll for how much health he had left.
Oh boy.
Roll a certain number of d10s to get that.
Suspense. La 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 la.
So you watch as this blight comes out of the Pallid Archfey, because it's not really Gideon anymore, into Elliot Fern, and you can watch as his ferns are completely blistering away and drying up. The Curon, describe what it looks like when you bring the scepter out and the barrier comes up.
So I imagine at most times Kieran has this in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Just something about the scepter gives him strength, knowing its connection to the first, to Varys. And seeing this, he raises it up, swinging it up, grabbing it with another hand and pointing it almost, and you see this like clear, shimmering energy channel around it to a point at the tip of the mace, as it properly is, and it like shoots out in this pinpoint of energy that goes and like blooms out around Elliot Fern, trying to protect him from the necrotic energy. And I expect, it stops it for a moment, but it still breaks through, but the blight has now been weakened.
Yeah. Okay, so as this barrier comes up and the necrotic energy is buffeted for a moment, it then shatters and you see it still wilts into Elliot Fern. You see his leaves falling from him as he drops to both his knees, drops his shield. The cloak that ties around his neck just comes unfastened and blows away as these leaves all pour off of him.
I will not wither today, beast. Corruption. I will save Gideon the Great.
As he has 6 health left.
Oh, hell yeah.
Attaboy.
And we will end there on an initiative roll.
Aw, man.
So, start of next week, we will roll initiative against the Pallid Archfey to save Gideon and stop this pinpoint of Pallid corruption. All right, folks, thank you so much for joining us for this evening, as we got to see some cool stuff from a reborn Wiswick. We got to see several old NPCs suffering.
The way Sean likes it.
And yeah, so please join us throughout the week. We're going to be doing Relaxing in Paradise again on Wednesday. I'm going to be playing some more Cult of the Lamb, maybe doing some other stuff depending on all of this. Like maybe I'll draw a map of Sarathil, or maybe I'll update the mini for the Pallid Archfey to make it a little more cleaner, because it is just kind of covered in just like
It was a quick thing.
it was a quick. Yeah, I dipped it in some grass textures. But we will be doing Relaxing in Paradise on Wednesday. The Sean and Shannon Power Hour will be on Sunday. Actually, maybe not. I'll talk to you after this.
What do you mean, maybe not? We didn't do it yesterday. We have so much to talk about.
I have a wedding to shoot, I think, on Sunday. So what I'd recommend is maybe pull one of these gentlemen in and do it that way, like we used to do when Tim couldn't do it.
That's right. Who wants in?
So if anyone's available on
I'll
Sunday,
fucking jump at once.
Maybe. I have something on Sunday, but we'll see.
We could all do it.
I don't have anything, but
that would be
also
fun.
I don't know where I'm gonna
everyone,
be.
and all of you are welcome. I will watch from the wedding I'm shooting and not do my job.
Maybe do your job.
I'll do my
Get
job.
paid.
I'll do my job. Yeah.
Get paid so you can get more minis. For
That's
us.
good. Yeah, that's true. This is where most of my mini money comes from. Are these wedding shoots?
Mini money.
My mini money.
Mini money.
Mini money.
And then return with us next Monday to see how our adventurers continue to battle the now imminent threat of the Pallid King. They have 6 days before the full-on arrival. And they've contacted 2 allies, one who says, we'll be there soon, and one who said, I don't understand how you think we could possibly get to you.
No, can't do
And then
that.
one who was corrupted.
I think I have something on that day. Sorry.
I'm shooting a wedding
busy.
on that day. Sorry, but I have war scheduled for that day, and I don't think I can get out of it.
Jesus Christ, Mom, can I skip war?
Just this one time, can we skip war? And then kind of just a final note, the Advantage in Paradise has been nominated for awards in the New Jersey Web Fest. So I don't know exactly how that works. So, but we'll let you know if we win any, I guess, in September when some of us go. Very cool, very exciting, very honored to be nominated for these awards with a bunch of other fantastic creators. But otherwise, we'll see you next week or throughout the week. Join us for the epic end game of this campaign.
Thanks.
Believe it.
All right, let's do a raid.
Let's do a raid.
Do a raid.
Let's do a raid.
You guys want to go fight Atheon?
Yeah, I was about to say, I haven't played WoW in years, man.
I was referring to Destiny, but
Yeah.
the superior.
Well, I was
Whoa,
talking about.
do you guys want to play
not
insert
Destiny.
MMO here?
Yeah.
Final Fantasy
The
14,
MMO
let's go.
is D&D.
All right. Let's raid Geekly Inc. They're playing a tabletop RPG. All right, everybody, say goodbye or see you soon or your preferred method of salutation.
Bye.
Peace out.
Arrivederci.